Now to a landmark decision handed down by the United States Supreme Court today. The court found it is unconstitutional to consider race in college admissions. The vote was 6-3. Today's ruling stems from a lawsuit filed against Harvard and the University of North Carolina, which accused the elite schools of using racial stereotyping to grant admission. In the majority opinion, Chief Justice Roberts wrote, "Eliminating racial discrimination means eliminating all of it." President Biden says he disagrees with the decision, saying diversity is our strength. The landmark decision is drawing major reaction, as you might imagine, from colleges and universities across the country and here in Minnesota tonight. Sammy Salina spoke with several higher education leaders and joins us now with more. Sammy?
Julie, while some organizations said they don't expect this decision to necessarily change their process, other Minnesota colleges I spoke with said they're still trying to figure out what this means for admission policy. Summer brings the University of Minnesota a quiet campus.
We need these voices. We need these voices.
Andy Warner, the co-president of Mi Gente Latinx Student Cultural Center, says they're worried that there will be missing voices when students return.
Affirmative action is what brought us up to this level, and it uplifts us into this space.
Minnesota colleges are now scrambling to figure out what the Supreme Court ruling on affirmative action means to them. In a statement from the University of Minnesota Provost, Rachel Croson, says they're working to ensure that our processes in undergraduate, graduate, and professional education are compliant with the new state of the law, and that we continue to live out our values of inclusion and access. Meanwhile, the Minnesota state system of colleges and universities says it's trying to ensure diversity won't be missing from campuses.
It may be seen as an initial blow, but it's really up to us to really rally around our communities of color and make sure that everyone sees themselves as a part of higher education.
Andrielle Deese is the Vice Chancellor for Equity and Inclusion for the Minnesota State System Office.
For sure.
She says race currently does not have a criterion in its admissions process.
Even though we are open access, we know that this has an effect on all of our sister institutions throughout the state.
I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed.
Macalester College President Suzanne Rivera says regardless of what they legally decide to change, they will find ways to ensure their campus isn't missing out on important voices.
I think that's going to cause colleges and universities striving to create diverse classes to do more work in order to holistically assess each applicant.
It's not that just affirmative action got us here. Our resumes, our participation in school, our grades.
Andy is worried those much-needed voices won't have opportunities to fill classrooms.
I feel like that bar has just been raised, especially for students of color, because now we have to prove ourselves again.
If you would like to hear from more Minnesota colleges on their reactions, we have that on KARE11.com.